Good afternoon to everyone that's joining. Thank you very much for spending your next hour with Clarinda and I. Just going to give a little bit more time for a few more people to join. You can see there's lots of people come through, which is lovely. Glad you're all happy to come and spend an hour of your afternoon with Clarinda and I. We will give it a couple more minutes because there's still lots more people joining. Good afternoon, everyone. Clarinda, how nice was the weather out in Boston?
Oh my gosh, it was hot the entire time and not humid, which is what I don't like when it's hot.
And it's
So
like that walk from the Airbnb to the conference center.
really
It was
nice
a
walk.
lovely walk, but literally that 20-minute walk, by the time we got to the conference center, it was like, whew, it's a bit warm.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't mind it though, because we got to go over the bridge and stuff, so that's nice.
Yeah. It was like the boat trip. The boat trip, we got to go from the outside and come along to the bridge and come up the river, which was amazing. Oh, I need to make sure I add that into my highlight at the end. A couple more minutes. Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone that's joined so far. I can see that we've got quite a few numbers coming through, so thank you very much, everyone. We're probably going to get started in about 2 minutes, just in case we've got any stragglers coming through. But Clarinda and I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to come and spend a little bit of your afternoons with us. Okay, I think we are at a place now, Clarinda, where we'll make a start. We've got a nice, good number of people in the audience. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining Clarinda and I as we do a little bit of a roundup from our time last week over in Boston at the HubSpot Inbound Conference. So in today's session, get myself onto the right screen, we are going to talk about what is Inbound, what was the conference that Clarinda and I went to last week. Clarinda's going to talk about her favourite events that she attended. We're going to do a little bit of a roundup on some of the big product launches that HubSpot announced last week.
Very exciting stuff.
We're going to do key takeaways. Clarinda's going to talk about some of her key takeaways. I'm going to talk about some of my key takeaways. Spoiler alert, one of my key takeaways is that the big boss at HubSpot touched my beard. So I've not washed my beard since then. And it's literally, I've got Brian in my beard. So I feel very privileged.
I hope he watches this video.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure it goes out to him. We're going to do key takeaways, and then we're going to talk about what we hope to see at next year's Inbound. So, Clarinda, let's dive in. So, quick introductions. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Andy Silvers. I'm, according to this slide, the acquisition consultant, which is a way glorified term for what my job is. I'm not that much of an expert. I'm actually not an acquisition consultant. I'm actually head of the client success team. So my job at BBD Boom is working with the likes of Clarinda and our solutions team, Tommy Price, Katie Townsend, all of our amazing strategists that we've got at Boom. My job is essentially to work with the strategists and the client success team and make sure the work that we deliver to our customers is, number one, central to their role within their business, but also making sure that we're delivering against those KPIs that they set when they first came on that journey with BBD Boom. And also, that's an amazing picture of myself and Dan Tyre. I did get to meet Dan Tyre. I met him last year, but I did get to meet Dan Tyre again this year. And what was really, really nice for me is he recognized me. As soon as I came up to him, he said, "Hey, BBD Boom, you're that big bearded guy from BBD Boom." So not that he knew my name, he knew me as the big bearded guy, which is probably more important to me than him actually knowing my name. So I thought it'd be worthwhile sticking that picture up of me and Dan because that was one of my highlights. Clarinda, give yourself a quick intro.
Thanks. I'm Clarinda. I'm one of the solutions lead strategists at BBD Boom, and my job is to chat with clients, make sure they've got HubSpot set up exactly to what they need, train clients to adopt them easily, and answer any questions about HubSpot. And I have a lot of fun doing that. So that's me. This is also my first time attending the Inbound event, and it was amazing. I'm really, really happy, and hopefully I get to go back again soon. And then in the picture with me, there is Kyle Jackson. And if any one of you follow HubSpot on LinkedIn, you probably have seen his face somewhere, but he's well known for sharing all of HubSpot's most exciting product updates. But that's me.
And we have a couple of amazing webinars that we've done in the past with Carl Jackson. One in particular was talking about, what was the Christmas one you did with Carl?
Kind of a roundup of the most exciting product updates for 2022. And we've got a recording of that on our website if you did want to check that out. It's all Christmas themed and we've got Christmas hats on, so it's really exciting.
Amazing. So what is Inbound and what was the conference all about? Well, I actually going to take this a little bit from what Yamini said at the very beginning in her keynote talk. Inbound is about culture, innovation, and creativity. So culture about having the whole community of HubSpotters, I think we're referred to, all coming together. So that's partners, that's customers, and that's actual HubSpots. So at the conference, there was about 12,000 people, I think they quoted, which is a complete combination of HubSpot employees, partners like BBD Boom, and also actual HubSpot customers, so and end user of HubSpot as well. So in a way, what HubSpot tries to do is bring everyone together in 1 week so that you've got the 3 collaborations of a community all really coming together, talking about innovation, so talk about new features which HubSpot will be launching in 2023, 2024. And in terms of creativity, really showcasing not only the HubSpot knowledge base and talent, but also other people which are out there with interesting views sometimes, but also very creative views on things like podcasting, on event marketing, on AI. AI is going to come up once or twice in today's webinar, but
Just once or twice.
Dive too much into AI because I don't know we're there yet, but also just a massive networking event, which is really good. Spoiler alert. So just to quote an event which both Clarinda and I attended last week, JS talked quite a lot about everyone being very busy in their working life. So you need to get to the point. So rather than having me waffle for ages about lots of stuff which is unmeaningful, we're actually going to change today's webinar. Today's webinar was built to be 1 hour. We're actually going to adopt what Jay said last week, and we're going to try and condense our 1 hour down to 30 minutes. So we do have the timer on. I'm 6 minutes into the timer already. So what Clarinda and I are going to try and do is we're going to try and condense 1 hour's worth of webinar content down into 30 minutes so that you've got time to go away and maybe even have 30 minutes to go and put the kettle on, or have 30 minutes just to reflect back on some of the amazing things which Clarinda and I are going to talk to you about. So, Clarinda, over to you. Talk to me about your favorite events from last week.
Thanks. So I've listed some names here that I think if anyone's interested would be really worth following on socials, just because I think you will be learning a lot from them. But overall, all the sessions, I mostly enjoyed the ones that had really practical takeaways. I enjoyed the ones that were theoretical sessions a bit less. And I also did find the fully educational deep dive sessions a bit too long for my liking. But obviously that's just personal preference. I know some people did benefit from those types of sessions. But the favorite events are the ones, like I said, very, very practical stuff. So Andy mentioned about Jay, I think it's Schwalderson, but I might be reading his name slightly wrong. So if anyone's in his team's watching it, I'm really sorry. But his event happens pretty much every year at Inbound, and it's always packed full of people for a very good reason. So he basically specializes in email marketing, and he's got guru events, which you can see in that image there. And he also has the website subjectlines.com. But his whole presentation is always about email marketing, how to improve email opens, and he always shares statistics that he's found from emailing billions and billions of contacts, to tell you information like this word will increase your conversion rates this amount, this not using this word, back and forth. But yeah, and he's got a slide in there that kind of gives you kind of a snapshot of the information that he shared with us during the presentation and some screenshots of the event as well. I'd highly recommend taking a screenshot if you're interested. But if you go to his website and find him on socials, he's constantly sharing information like that. So if you're in marketing and email marketing is something that you do, I highly recommend, highly recommend looking at his content. So that was one of the highlights. And then the second one, which is actually kind of on par with Jay, I will say, is Audrey Mattoon and then Brian Kreutz. I think I'm reading them right. So they actually did a live session on conversion rate optimization, but not website CRO, but just using HubSpot to measure your conversion rates, especially with life cycle stages and deal stages. So I'm going to be a bit nerdy here with the HubSpot talk, but if any of you are familiar with HubSpot lifecycle stages and deal stages, you know that the funnel reporting is not always, is a very, very cool tool when you look at it, but they have some limitations with how you can report on that if people skip stages. So basically this entire conversation was about how you can set up automations and lists and workflows to prevent that from happening so that you can get really useful marketing funnel reports and sales funnel reports as well. So I connected with them. I found really useful. They shared screenshots of all the workflows that they built, and they were happy to just kind of give us free advice even after the session, which was really, really nice. And yeah, I found that super, super useful. Then the other one I really enjoyed was Neil Patel and Eric Hughes. It was a podcast Q&A session. So the both of them have a podcast together. And basically this was a session for, I guess, people that follow their content to just sit with them and ask questions about them. So if you're not familiar with these names, they're basically kind of in the online marketing space. Neil Patel is quite well known for his company Uber Suggest, which is like an SEO research tool as well. But yeah, it was a really casual conversation, and they gave us some really useful tips about, email marketing, podcast marketing, bunch of different things, community marketing as well. And small businesses that were in the audience got to go up and ask like specific questions about how they can market their specific business. And Neil actually like gave them very specific answers for their industry as well, which I found really, really insightful. Because I do find a lot of presentations tend to go really broad, but I do enjoy the ones that are super specific because we can actually see the application of like the knowledge that they have.
Yeah, this one as well. I thought in particular Neil Patel came across really well, and you can at inbound you can kind of get lost in lots of talks where they're talking at you and they're not as interactive as you would like them to be. Whereas I have to say the way that Neil and Eric ran their session with how interactive they were with the audience, it was just really, really good, even with just making sure that there was a mic being passed around to lots of different people. And I have to say a lot of the questions, I would say they were very much based on questions that were startups or SMBs asking things like, how would you go and how would you devise a podcast strategy? Or how would you do you bulk record or single you record your sessions?
Yeah.
So some of the things like Neil said was what Neil and Eric would do is that they would book themselves out for a day and they would maybe do 10 episodes and then give it to the editorial team. Or actually, can you remember what that really, really cool tool was that allows you to...
You know what? I wrote it down on my phone and then my phone died, so now it's gone. But I did write it down. But yeah.
We'll try and find that for you, audience, because it's actually really, really good. It allows you to take some video copy and segment the copy down into really nice bite-sized chunks to be able to seed out to your audience. So if you are building yourself a podcast strategy or even webinar video strategies, this tool would be something that we would highly recommend, but embedding into that to be able to give you your social snippets to be able to seed out. But yeah, I did think from the way that Neil ran that session, in the interactiveness that it was a really, really good session.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, like Andy said, because I do want to find out what that software is. So I will share it as well if you do find it. Tracy, I saw you've got a question about sending links out. We'll include those links for you, and then we'll send it out to everyone who's attended the event, the social links of these people. So we'll do that. Yes, another one was Amy Porterfield. So I think this name is really also really big in the online space. So she's basically a business owner. And the business, I believe, is worth quite a multi-million-dollar business, and it's fully about online courses as well. So she builds online courses and she sells them. And she's a huge advocate of using your email list to sell to your audience, and also provide value to your audience. So regardless of what platforms you have, social platforms, a webinar, a YouTube channel, she always comes down to make sure that all those channels are going to your email list, because that is where the money is. So I found the interview with Amy really, really insightful, just because it's always been a space that I'm really interested in anyway. So it's really nice to see one of the people that I've been following for a while in person and, answering questions. And then the final thing is not really an event, but it's more of like the networking opportunity. So when I first came into the event, I actually wasn't really expecting to do much networking. I knew that was kind of Andy's agenda, but for me, it was just like, go to all the sessions and learn as much as you can. But I ended up actually meeting some really amazing people. So that included the HubSpot product team. So I kind of had a full-on nerdy session with all of them to talk about all the updates that were happening. I also met some of the HubSpot Academy people, including Dan Tyre, which Andy just mentioned. And I also met some really wonderful HubSpot partner agencies, both in the UK and in the US, and they are so friendly. And it was just really nice exchanging ideas about, how we can better benefit our clients. So yeah, I actually had a lot of fun doing some networking as well.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the networking, it was nice because there didn't seem to be that many UK partners out there. So what was actually nice was to get to meet a lot of partners from the US, or actually in different territories, APAC and other areas like that. And it was nice to kind of hear some of the challenges that those partners are going through. So for example, Pierce, Clarinda and I both attended a partner scaled onboarding networking event, which is an offering that HubSpot offers for people which are just starting their business and going through scaled onboardings with HubSpot. And we met a lot of partners which are just coming into the partner scaled onboarding program with HubSpot. And because BBD Boom has been part of that program now for 3, 4, 5 years, there were a lot of people coming up to Clarinda and I talking to us about the process we run, the success rate that we have. We've got a very, very good success rate with our graduations on the program. So we had a lot of people coming up to us, asking us lots of questions. And then, sorry, Clarinda, I'm going to have to ask this question on the evening we had at the VIP party. So sorry for saying that, but yes, we are an elite partner. We are one of the top 10 global partners. Shameless little plug there. Sorry about that. And Clarinda and I were both lucky enough to be invited to a VIP party where we got to brush shoulders with lots of the top brass. But Clarinda got to specifically meet 2 or 3 of your heroes.
I can't remember who you're referring to now.
Oh,
The
cool.
VIP party.
Brian, Darness.
Oh, that
Dan.
was the elite party.
Yeah.
But yes, I did. I met all the founders, which is really cool. And I saw Yamini as well, which was nice, although I didn't get to chat with her, but that was great.
Cool. And I do have to say, for networking, I was very lucky. A big shout out to Emma Lynch for passing this one over to me. But there was a boat tour networking event. So rather than being stuck in a conference centre, there was a boat which went out around Boston Harbour, showed you some of the key landmarks around Boston Harbour, which was networking with a few other partners, a few other companies, where we had someone talking to us about the historical areas that we went around. Got to drink a couple of glasses of bubbly, and got out into the sunshine and fresh air. So I do have to give a shameless plug out to Accel Events, because thank you so much for hosting the event. Really, really enjoyed the company of the 2 guys we had. And I know they've connected with me LinkedIn to talk about some other bits in the future. So product updates. The first thing I just want to remind people for product updates is don't forget any of the products, any of the features which are live at the moment. You can actually go through to your HubSpot instance, go through to your My Account area, go through into your settings, and then make sure you have betas, look into betas. And then if you want to be able to access those betas, just simply turn it on, because a lot of the features that HubSpot do release in their monthly updates, not many people know, but you actually can get access to them now. So you can go and be an early adopter. So I wanted to just make sure that everyone saw where they could go to for this. Some of these features, though, are coming in the roadmap for 2023. So if you're not seeing some of the stuff that Clarinda and I are about to talk through, please don't fear. It's on HubSpot's roadmap to a launch at some stage this year.
Also, quite useful to know is that with beta opt-ins, only super admins can get access to it. So if you're not a super admin in your account, just make sure you reach out to the right person.
Okay, so Clarinda and I were lucky enough to see this twice. We've got Andy Petrie's talk on Tuesday, and then we've got Andy Petrie's talk again on Wednesday for the updates. The privilege we get as a HubSpot partner is we do get access to information before actual customers. So we got to see this on Tuesday, then it was presented to everyone by Andy Petrie on Wednesday. But there were some really, really cool updates coming. You're going to see, if you look at this slide, you're going to see AI reference across quite a few bits. AI was the general theme of inbound. I think AI in HubSpot's terms, though, is a little bit more detailed in terms of what features are coming, as opposed to AI in the business world at the moment. So I'm not going to focus too much on AI in the business world. I'm going to kind of focus more on AI in the HubSpot world. So looking at things like breaking it down by hubs in Marketing Hub, these are cool. And I have to admit, I'm not normally a HubSpot geek or get excited about real detailed HubSpot stuff. But some of these bits that did get launched, I kind of sat there and went, oh, this can actually make my life easier. So I got quite excited about them. So there's some AI assistants coming, the way I'm going to start that. Yeah. So with that, HubSpot is looking into a content assistant to be launched later this year. The content assistant will essentially help you create your content pages. So that could be landing pages, could be blogs. It's your content you're trying to do to support your SEO strategy. Rather than you having to go through the step-by-step guide that HubSpot currently has, HubSpot has created an AI feature that allows you to have a one-page drop-down field selector that essentially you're going to tell what type of content it is, what you'd like to do, put your copy in, and HubSpot's actually going to go away and generate that for you themselves, which is a really cool feature.
Quick, that's actually the campaign AI. Content Assistant AI creates the new content that generates your images and your text as well, but it kind of works together anyway.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, Clarinda, that was kind of what I was referring to in the sense of the landing pages and the social. As well as your content, you can look at your email subject line again, which the AI assistant can give you subject line suggestions for.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, and the same with social posts, which again allows you to be able to get some really meaningful, or actually some exciting, good subject lines and copy to put into what your social posts are. On Sales Hub, you've got AI Sales Forecast. In fact, with Sales Hub, I really like the new prospecting tool which has come. I know the prospecting tool got launched maybe a month or two back, but the prospecting tool is, in my eyes, and certainly for the role that I do, Clarinda, allows me to be able to look at what my day-to-day tasks are. So I don't really know that they've done enough to promote that update. I know Andy talked about it slightly, but I think because you've got AI stuff coming through, it's maybe not been really promoted across to how much it could benefit sales teams out there.
Yeah, for those of you who are using Sales Hub, you might find them pop up already under your, if you click on sales and drop down, you'll see prospecting on the top with the beta label on it. So that's pretty much what it is, but we will have a visual for you afterwards.
Some good updates coming in Service Hub. So again, anyone that's looking to really engage their audience on your website through chatbots. At the moment for chatbots, the way that you would need to create your chatbots is have a list of questions and a list of answers that the chatbot can work across. What HubSpot's new AI chatbot does is it's actually going to go and crawl your website to go and find the answer to the question based on the live environment that you're currently going through. So again, it allows you to, again, making sure you've got the meaningful content on your website in the first place, but it really does allow you to use some of these AI assistant tools to really make your life more streamlined. And some of your processes, excuse me. Oops. Anything else you would want to pick out on marketing, sales, or service, Clarinda?
No, I think you covered most of them, but we will have some images to just give you an idea of what that looks like as well.
The only other one then, Clarinda, is the AI website generator.
Yeah, and that's a big one.
I'm a bit skeptical on this one, I'm going to be honest, but the AI website generator. So again, keeping on the AI assistant tool, which HubSpot's looking to release, the AI website builder, as HubSpot describes it, should help you build a website. So that can be a website with all of your content. And what you're going to do is you've got a few prompts to go and put your imagery, your copy, linkage, and HubSpot's going to go away and actually generate that website for you. I would like to see this one work, Clarinda, to actually see the proof in the pudding.
Me too. I actually have seen another software called Durable that does that for small businesses. So I'm curious to see if the way HubSpot does it's very similar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We will keep our opinions held back on that one until it gets launched.
Yeah, we just got a couple of slides just to give you an idea of what it looks like, the experience. So for Campaign AI, like Andy said, it basically has a few prompts. So for example, it'll ask you, what your audience wants to do, what's the goal, what's the campaign about. You answer a few questions, it generates an entire landing page, design and copy included. And then from there, you can then continue to generate things like your Google search campaign, your Instagram ads, your marketing emails, and I think social posts as well. So all of that will be generated for you based on your campaign prompts, which is also really crazy. But once again, a little skeptical to see how that turns out because, yeah, it's also new. So we'll see how that one goes. And then the next one was the website AI, which we already talked about. So we can probably skip that one. With the AI chatbot, really useful thing to know is once this has been released, literally all you need to do is go to the chat flows tool in HubSpot, which you can find under conversations, and just turn it on. And apparently it starts working straight away. So it's a two-step process. Now, this is a screenshot of the prospecting dashboard, which Andy was talking about before. So basically, it allows a sales rep to manage their calendar, their task, everything all in one page so that they don't have to jump from page to page in HubSpot to be able to follow up with their prospects. And if anyone is interested in learning more about these products, including some kind of video walkthroughs as well, I highly recommend going to YouTube and just looking up this video here. So there's a link, you can take a screenshot if you want. But it's Andy Paiter from HubSpot, and he is the person that announced all the product updates, and it's a lot more detailed. So I highly recommend looking at that one too.
So, Clarinda, key takeaways.
Yes. So there were lots of sessions that I enjoyed that I also didn't put into the highlights because it was just overwhelmingly lots of events. So from everything that I've consumed, I feel like these little points here are kind of the main things I really took away that I feel I could really action in the real world, both for my own projects and also with my clients, and also with Boom. So the first thing is how to navigate SEO in an AI world. So if you're like me and you've got a bit of an SEO background and you do SEO, you'll know that there's been a lot of concern about how AI generated content will be affecting SEO because people now have the ability to churn out hundreds and thousands of content in a few minutes because of things like ChatGPT. So what I've actually learned from the conference recently is that right now, people who are churning out a lot of content using ChatGPT are doing pretty well in terms of ranking for, the keywords they want because there's just so much content. But I think in the long term, or not I think, but I'm pretty sure in the long term, based on, all the sessions that I've had recently, the people who will win in the long term are the ones that actually start to produce unique content that are based on thought leadership. So rather than just doing a blog on 5 steps to build a website, as an example, if you bring in a specialist of someone who actually has had experience building the website, video walkthroughs of the kind of the best process to do it, things like that, that will give you kind of an edge in the content because you'll notice now that there's lots of content being churned, it kind of starts to look like the same over and over again. So by having that unique edge, a real person giving their advice based on their real world experience, that will give you a step up. So this will also improve in terms of YouTube content as well. So we know there's all these AI video generation tools that people use and they rank it well for SEO and it shows up in the search navigation bar. But for YouTubers or people who create YouTube content that are unique and they are using their own voice and their own opinions and their own real faces, these people are the ones that will stand out. So just something that I found really, really useful because it definitely was an answer I was looking to get from this conference. With email marketing, we've talked about this. So basically, how to get more opens, lots of insights from Jay and Amy Porterfield. So highly recommend checking out those people. Another thing is I find that with all the sessions I've attended so far, the ones I found most useful in terms of applying life experience, productivity tips, they're always from stories and interviews of successful business owners because I guess they've kind of been through all of it and they kind of come out at the end really strong. So it's really nice to kind of learn about their journey and what they did to change those steps to get to where they are now. So the main takeaway from all these stories that I've heard so far is that whenever you're working on a project, even if it's unsuccessful, don't refresh, but optimize. So rather than, for example, running an ad campaign and saying, oh, the ads campaign's not really giving me the right return, let's just redo a whole new kind of content strategy. What you actually really need to be doing is looking at the little things that have been a part of building that campaign and tweaking them slightly over time for a longer period so that you can slowly adjust accordingly and just really incrementally get better results. Because if you're doing a refresh, you're basically starting from scratch and you don't really have anything to learn from. And then finally with social media, I know it's all marketing heavy, but it's kind of my interest. So there you go. So with social media, there's so many platforms out there these days. Sometimes they are trendy platforms as well. If anyone remembers like Clubhouse, for example. But basically social media, especially for small SMB businesses that don't have the resources to be marketing on all the platforms, it's really important to kind of pick and prioritize the platforms that you want to be creating engagement, value content from to get the right audience into your business. But if you are wanting to kind of market on all your platforms as well, you can actually use the other platforms as what they kind of call like dark social, which is where you use those platforms just as social proof. So rather than continuously creating valuable, engaging content, it could just be a place to share your case studies and testimonials in case someone decides to go to that platform. And yeah, so those are my key takeaways. I found these really useful, and I'm definitely looking forward to apply all of this in my future work.
I'd probably say that for a sales takeaway, if you have Sales Hub, I would highly recommend you to start looking at your sales team and using the new prospecting tool within HubSpot. I'm sorry for the little plug here, but if you don't know how to use it, please engage with the BBD Boom team. If you're a current customer of ours, please engage with your CS member, because the HubSpot reps use the prospecting tool, and they've actually built the prospecting tool based on the activity that the HubSpot sales reps do. So it's a very proven system that allows you to spend your day and have your day managed for you in the prospecting tool, so you're very focused on what you're working on. So if you do have sales teams, whether you're looking to move on to HubSpot from other platforms, or you currently have HubSpot and you've got Sales Hub, please do reach out to us and see how we can advise you best on to use that prospecting tool, because it's really, really good. And I think for anyone that's starting to look at it and understand how they can start to benefit from that type of dashboard, it can really benefit your productivity.
I agree.
So inbound 24, Clarinda. Firstly, are we going? Oh, there's a little question mark. Are you and I going? There's another.
I hope so. I'd like to go again.
So I've done 2 years, so I'm probably going to say it's about time that I step aside for next year. But hey, we need to discuss that at BBD Boom to see what we do for 2024. Yeah. But I loved Boo. I've loved inbound. I loved it last year, loved it this year. I think you get such a buzz from being around people. I would say if you're not already sold on what HubSpot is, then going to these type of conferences really does help you buy into the HubSpot culture, the HubSpot community, and the creativity and innovation. Go back to my first slide. What is those key things to really embrace what inbound gives you and what HubSpot as a platform gives you. So I definitely think for next year, I will be stepping aside and then someone else from BBD Boom step into my shoes and go and have that excitement in a way. But from your perspective, Clarinda, what would you hope for 24?
Before I start with that, I think if anyone is considering to go to inbound next year, I think they've already opened registrations actually. They have. But like early bird ones. But I think if you're a user of HubSpot and not a HubSpot partner, what they actually have as well is a whole section of the HubSpot product team that actually you can talk to face to face and ask them about features and product updates that are coming up. So these are the actual people that are working on these updates in HubSpot. So you've got the developers, the product team, anyone that actually knows what the roadmap is like. So if you did want to have those conversations, it's a really good place to meet the right people.
I'd also say on that, so this is an event which you're not going to go to and be sold to. So anyone that's worrying about going to these type of things and having lots of salespeople sell to you, we actually had 3 of our customers go to the event separately to Clarinda and I. We met up with them whilst we were there, but they actually saw their own benefit from their marketing and sales team going to the event to see where they could actually dive into some of the product updates with some of the team. And I believe, having spoken to all 3 of them since the return, that they've really, kind of the same as us as a partner, they've embraced the culture that HubSpot offers, but also can really now start to see how they can see that value of showing the showcase of what the product can do within their business, but knowing that they have a partner to rely on, but also they have the whole support of the community there.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, in terms of what I hope to see at inbound, so I think there were lots of sessions on there, and I definitely also participated in some that I didn't think were as useful. So what I really hope to see is more sessions that were based on kind of practical, actionable steps. And hopefully those aren't overlapped at the same time, because I want to see them all. And I believe this year they only recorded the events happening at the main stage, and they had basically different events happening at different locations of the convention center at once. So yeah, I would love to see more events like that. Anything that's about like specific HubSpot implementations or strategies, I'd love to do that, but obviously that's because of the job that I have. But there's lots of good marketing stuff as well that I would love to see. Things that, you know, for example, Audrey and Jay, those types of talks I would love to see more of, and like interviews with business owners. I love those. I love podcasts about that. I would love to hear more talks from HubSpotters as well. There were quite a few in there and I did enjoy those, so that was great. Although I did think there were a couple of them that weren't presented very well. I'm also curious to see if there is like how people start to see the kind of AI technology advancements in a year's time, because obviously it's only been, I don't know how long it's been, it's probably been a few months, but honestly, at the moment, I feel like everyone's just kind of speculating and we don't really know what's going on. So we're just kind of hoping for the best. And there's lots of people that are definitely more advanced with the technology because they work at it. But yeah, I'd be interested to see in a year from now that everyone started using it properly, what sort of new informative sessions will come out of that. And then finally, not really about the event itself, but more of the event app. I did feel like maybe the app was a little bit laggy for my liking, so I just wanted to put a point in there and say it would be nice if it was a bit easier to use next year, but that's kind of another conversation. I don't know, Andy, do you have any thoughts yourself?
I think mine's the AI one as well, Clarinda.
Yeah.
I think I remember going back to, I think it was 2016 when the term content is king came out, and everyone went, oh, yeah, content's king, but no one actually knew what that meant.
Yeah.
And then everyone tried to just throw shitloads of content at stuff, but no one really stepped back and went, okay, well, what actually is a proper content strategy?
Yeah.
I kind of feel this year with AI. AI's like been burst.
AI is king.
And everyone feels like they have to talk about AI.
Yeah.
And there were talks about having their company processes around how to use AI, how much time you should be spending on AI. And I kind of do feel at the moment that everyone is just jumping on the AI bandwagon. There's some amazing tools out there. I don't want to take anything away from that, but I would really like to be able to see this time next year when we come back from inbound, gone, okay, I can really see how AI can work within my business, can work to help my sales team, can help with my account retention, can help with profitability, can help with business processes. I would really like to be able to see some meaningful AI software conversations that we can really start to take away and do things with.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Oh, also, before we go to that last slide, if anyone's wanting to check out talks by Andy, Paita, Yamini, and I think Dharmesh as well, who talks about ChatSpot, just go to HubSpot's YouTube channel. I think they still have those events there. But although I think the main stage events are all taken off their YouTube channel now, so I think there's just 3 videos left. But if you did want to check out, especially the product updates, yeah, you can go there. Anyway, that's it.
Thanks, Clarinda. Well, I am sorry to say I'm slightly over. I'm going to stop the clock watch at the moment on 37 minutes. So we didn't keep to our pledge at the beginning, Clarinda, and keep to 30. But I think you can put a lot of that down to me and my waffling, because I do like to waffle at times about random things. We really appreciate your time. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you do have questions where you'd like to reach out to either myself or Clarinda, you can find our details on LinkedIn, Andy Silvers or Clarinda Cheon. And likewise, if you'd like to engage with BBD Boom about any further services, please either go onto the website, book a meeting with Mike Ryan, or book a meeting with Adam Lewis. And they'll be able to answer your questions in more detail. Also, just a quick plug, we do have another webinar coming up on the 21st of September. It's a joint webinar with Adam Lewis, co-founder of BBD Boom, and HubSpot, where we are talking about AI for SEO. So probably a little bit of a deep dive to what Clarinda and I have talked about today. on what Clarinda's actually talked about today in terms of AI and how it can start to work in the HubSpot world with organic. So that is on the 21st of September at 3 p.m. Wonder whether Adam's going to go along with the theme of a 30-minute webinar or not. I'll let him decide that one with HubSpot. But a massive thank you for me. Appreciate you guys joining us. Clarinda, big thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I had fun.
And we will see you all soon. Thank you very much.
See you soon. Bye.